Hey guys, welcome to another live stream. Make sure to say hello, let me know where you're from and what you guys are going to be working on today. It is day 19 of Camp NaNoWriMo. So let me know if you guys are participating. I am unofficially participating because I didn't actually with the website. I'm just using April as like my excuse to kick my butt into gear and finish this book that I'm reading, which is it's the third book total in my series that I'm writing, but it's actually the second book in the series because the first book was like a prequel type book. Um, so yeah, that's what I'm working on. Um, and b- before we actual writing sprints, or productivity sprints, however you want to call it, um, I call them productivity sprints because I know not everybody that jumps into these live streams all right. Some people are editing or outlining or doing other completely non-writing related things, like dishes or laundry or, things that need to get done that aren't writing. Um, so I do 3 20-minute sprints, and I try and keep my breaks to 5 minutes or less. Just because I usually tend to want to get as much writing done as possible in the about hour and a half live stream. I usually try and cap it at 2 hours just because of the time my kids get home, and I like to wrap up the live stream before they get home. So let me quick hop into the chat and say hi to everybody. Hi. I'm not sure if it's pronounced Dia or Dia. Uh, Rob, hi. I don't think I've seen you here before, so welcome. Thank you for joining me. Hello, Tina. Um, I've your name looks familiar. I'm not sure. You might have been in a previous live stream, but if not, welcome. Thanks for joining me. Let me know if you guys are working on anything for Camp Nano or if you guys are just kind of being like me and not officially doing Camp Nano. You're just kind of writing in April and using Camp Nano as an excuse to more. So that's kind of what's happening with me. I'm not using the website. I'm not in a cabin or anything like that. I'm just writing in April. When all the other writers around the world are apparently writing in April. So that's the cool thing about NaNoWriMo, right? It's kind of those few times of the year that so many writers in the world are all working towards the same goals. And our community just seems to be very strong during those months. So I always like to hop on and see if anybody else needs to get their butts into gear because I notice for me, sometimes these live streams are the only times I write. So and I don't know if there's any other writers that are like that where the only time that they almost make themselves write when they're in a live stream, whether they're on camera or they're just participating in somebody else's live stream. It's just kind of like that kind of gives them the little nudge they need to get some words written. Okay, so Tina says that she's going to be working on a blog post and then a critique for my writing group. And then she's going to be working on finishing up her novel. She's hoping to get her draft done this week. Why? Are you close to the end that you think you can get it done by the end of the week, or are you just a fast writer? Me personally, I'm a very, very, very slow writer. Um, I usually in 400 and 600 words in the whole live stream, and like I said, sometimes that's the only time I write in the day. So I am an extremely slow writer, but I am also very much. I cannot turn my inner editor off, so I'm sure that that slows me down. And as much as I've tried, I cannot seem to turn my inner editor off. I have come to the decision that I've got to work with it. It's just what needs to happen. Um, so you're a slow writer too, but ambitious. There you go. I am trying to be ambitious myself because I'd like to get this draft done by the end of the month, and that only gives me about 2 weeks left, and I'm on like chapter 9 of like 20 some. So, I mean, I'm being very, very ambitious, which means I definitely need to start work. I need to start writing more than 600 words a day. That's for sure. So it's written and trying to get drafts done and things of that nature. How about we jump into our first writing sprint? I use my phone, and that's just because the last time I tried to use like a timer on YouTube and just share the screen, my computer had like a conniption fit, and it it was a disaster. So I'm just going back to using my phone because my computer can't be mad at me when I just use my phone as my timer. So I have 20 minutes on my clock, and let's get this first writing sprint started. And ready, set, and go. Hmm?
Reading.
Writing.
No. Lucy was whining at downstairs.
Was she outside?
She
Did
was
you let her
whining
in?
so much. Ow, ow, ow.
Did you let her in?
Yep.
Okay, good.
Like literally.
You
like,
seem better.
Yeah.
So you're going to be going to school tomorrow?
Yes.
Okay.
Star just looking at me and sleeping. Wow, so suspicious.
Mm,
Why is one of my leases open?
ask your dad.
Stole it! Did he steal ours? Yeah, he definitely stealed ours. He's so mean.
Mm-hmm.
I think mine's right here. I'm stealing mine back. I'm stealing these back.
Just don't eat them all. Your stomach's not ready for that. Just put them down in the fridge or something.
Yeah. Oh, tell Dad I'm taking my leases back.
You tell Dad when he gets home.
Mom,
Mm-hmm.
can you go on the computer?
No.
But you asked. But I didn't say anything. I didn't
You
tell you.
mean I told you that you're not going to school?
Mhm.
So had I said you had to go to school, you would have went to school. Or
Well,
would you have said, no, Mom, I don't want to go to school?
I didn't say anything. I literally didn't say anything.
You may go on the computer, but you are going to school tomorrow. No arguments.
I
Because
know.
you're obviously
No, because
fine.
I miss my bestie.
Okay, well, because you're obviously fine. Okay?
Okay.
Okay, go. He offers her his. That's wrong. Shirt. Oh, not muted. Huh. Well, I guess you guys heard that conversation. Time's up. Restart. Yeah, I did. I forgot to unmute. So I apologize. You guys heard that whole conversation, didn't you? Um, anyway, let me see how many words I got. Let me know how many words you got or pages or how whatever it is you were doing during that sprint. Let me know what you got done. I got oh, what did I get? 243 words that time, which is pretty good for me. My average is about 200. So oh, you're on. Yeah, I know I wasn't. So my daughter is home from school today. I'm sure you heard. Um, let me quick say hi in the comments. I think we had an extra person come in as we were doing that last sprint. Let me look through the comments here. Yes, Wendy Prassert. I hope I pronounced that right. Um, Hello, thanks for joining us. Welcome. Um, Everybody was coming from somebody else's sprint. I don't know whose it was. It's probably on Devin's list. I gotta love that list. Oh crap. I can hide that now. Okay, so let's let everybody go. What did I say? I got 243 words that time, which is pretty good for me. Wendy got 620 words for a total of 2,252 words for the morning so far. Wow. It's in only half a day, not even half a day. Um, I'm a very slow writer. I'm not sure if you heard that part before we went into the sprint, but not a slow writer at all. I mean, I'm not a fast writer at all. Like I said, 200 is my average for a 20-minute sprint. So I have a terrible problem with my inner editor. It never shuts up is my problem. So, and I think I'm a little slower than I normally am right now because I'm kind of pantsing this draft. If you're a plotter in the comments, I am normally more on the plotter side, but this time I decided I'm pantsing it because I had this idea after I had originally written this book, meaning this is or I'm completely rewriting the book like from scratch. So I decided to pants it because I had plotted the first time and I felt like I was forcing a lot of stuff to happen. I felt like the romance like this couple didn't feel like they really belonged together. Like they didn't go together. Um and I think that's because I needed more time with the main male character and I I had a better idea for both of them as far as the coupling goes. So I decided to rewrite this book and give my main female character a completely different love interest or whatever you want to call it, hero of the story, when she's I don't really like the whole hero heroine terms. I'd rather just call them a couple or love interests or whatever because not every romance has a damsel in distress that needs a hero and every not every book has a female character that's a heroine of the book mission. But anyway, Tina said that she ate breakfast and checked some social media stuff and finished up that blog post she was writing. All right, so that's one thing off of your to-do list. That's cool. Yeah, I know, me too, Tina. I love Devin's sprint list, especially when I know I have a lot of catching up to do and I like to kind of just go in there and see like, okay, whose sprints are coming up that, I have a minute to, I have 30 minutes to write like right now, like who's on, so I can just go to his list and see who's live at the moment instead of me like because when you type it into YouTube, it doesn't work the same. Like you could write live streams, but then they'll have a bunch of like previous live streams instead of people that are live at that moment. You know what I mean? So I find Devin's live stream list very helpful. Wendy says that she usually writes about 2,000 words a day, and she's at the end of the book. So right now she's shooting for 4 to 5,000. Wow, that is a lot. I can't write that fast. Like right now, my long-term goal is to get myself up to a point where I can write 2,000 a day consistently, and I am not consistent in any way, shape, or form right now. Me getting my like 500 to 1,000 words a day Monday through Friday is already like that's kind of my current goal that I'm trying to make seem like it's just a thing. You have to do something for a certain amount of time before it just feels like it's part of your regular life. So that's kind of what I'm doing in April is kind of just trying to set that baseline of you write At least like 500 is your minimum. But I'd like to at least write 1,000 words a day, Monday through Friday, because weekends can get a little hectic around here. So I don't make myself write on the weekends. So, are you guys pantsers, plotters, planters? What's I think that's the term for like the midway between planning and plotting. Planning and plotting are the same thing. Um, I'm usually a planner. I decided to or plotter. I don't know why. Anyway, but I'm pantsing this, and it's like I am enjoying the pantsing process. I really am. It's a very slow process for me. So, um, Tina says that is my goal this week too. I'm guessing I'll see you on all the sprints then. Yes, good vibes. I should be hopping on all the sprints because I have a lot of words to do in a very short period of time, and I'm afraid that if I try and do that though, I'm gonna like burn myself out really quickly as far as the writing goes. So that's the only reason why I have that lower threshold, because I don't want to burn myself out. I want this to be a habit that I form. And I have this problem where a lot of times I'll go like really hard with the writing, and I will burn myself out so fast that I won't even want to look at a screen or pick up a pencil or whatever for like weeks. A really bad habit of mine. So I'm trying to break it by just going the slow and steady route. You know what I mean? Tina says she's a planter, so you're somewhere between the pantsing and the plotting. I am that's I think that's even where I'm falling right now. It's not like it's hard for me to imagine even a pantser, like a true pantser, having absolutely no notes for themselves. Like not even just a little like jot down like, hey, this is what I think will happen in the future, or this is just like a random idea I had for a future scene. It's hard for me to imagine even a pantser not having any notes at all whatsoever. So I'm saying I'm pantsing this, but it's not like I'm not keeping notes as I'm writing ideas for future scenes and things like that. So if that's still a pantser, let me know. That's about as pantsy as I get though. So um oh, Wendy and Tina are gonna buddy up while they punish themselves, right? Sometimes that's how we feel when we're trying to finish a book. It feels like, I used to enjoy this process, and now it's just a chore. See, and I really don't want to do that to myself. I don't want to turn it into a chore. I want to enjoy the process. Wendy says she's a plotter, but she allows herself to pants when it's needed. My best plot twists come while drafting. Right, yeah, that happens to me sometimes. See, I like to try an outline, but a lot of times I veer from that outline so often that then I end up having to either completely re-outline, which is pretty much what I do. I end up re-outlining because I can't seem to follow my original outline. Because as you're drafting, things happen and things change, and that just seems to be what happens with me too. So I end up re-outlining the whole thing, which is why I decided to give the pantsing thing a try and see if that kind of works better, where instead of outlining the entire story before I even start drafting, if I just start drafting and kind of keep track of ideas and scene, try and keep like a very rough out, if that would kind of work better, because the last draft that I wrote of this book was like I outlined the whole thing before I started, and then I ended up scrapping the whole thing. So it's like maybe this will help me avoid that. I feel like that was a big waste of time. Anyway, Wendy says she follows her original outline and ends up redoing the outline 2 or 3 times while she's drafting. Rarely. She rarely redoes the out. I rarely follow my original outline. Okay, is that what I'm assuming that's what you meant? Um, See that I start out following my original outline, but usually somewhere around like the inciting incident moment is kind of when I start to veer away of it from it. I don't know why, but I do. Anyway. Okay, we've been going on and on pretty long now. So let's get our second sprint in. Same 20 minutes on the clock, although mine says 19:59 because I was not fast enough with the pause button. So 20 minutes pretty much on the clock. This time I will remember to mute myself. That way you guys don't have to listen to me and my daughter argue. And ready, set, and go. Go. Okay. Okay, guys, that's the end of sprint two. Let me know what you guys did, how you guys did, all that good stuff. Let me see how many I got. Mm, I got 233 words that time. So not bad for me. 200 is usually my average, so kind of creeping up there slightly. So that um, I think that's kind of how it works most of the time. You get faster slowly. Um, of course, I mean, I sometimes I think it depends on where you're at in the story. Um, how excited about the scene you are, how much about the scene you already kind of knew beforehand. Because, like I said, I mean, usually if you have it kind of outlined in your head, you kind of have an idea of what's going to happen in the scene. So you can usually write a little faster because you're not wondering, well, what now? The whole time. So, Tina said that she did some dishes. Boy, my inner procrastinator is at work today. Yeah. That was me over this whole past weekend because it was the holiday weekend. So the days that I wasn't super busy with, excuse me, with holiday stuff, like we had to prep some um, meal, like meal stuff for Easter Sunday, and um, what happened on? Oh, and then we had an egg hunt that we had to go to on Saturday. So the days that we weren't already super busy, I was just like, I don't want to do anything today because I'm finally not so busy. I feel like I'm running around with my head cut off right now. So I just want to chill. Like the last thing I want to do is make my similar. Like I want to just zone out for a while now. Um so my procrastinator was working pretty hardcore on the days that it could as far as writing goes because there were things that I couldn't procrastinate on anymore. So I had to do them, like I had to make food for Easter. I had to go Easter shopping. You know, I had procrastinated long enough on those things, so my writing had to take a seat on the back burner over the weekend. Wendy says back during that sprint, but she has passed 90,000 words in her draft. Wow, that's a long draft. I'm just curious, what are you writing? I'm currently writing a paranormal romance, and most of my drafts usually end up landing between 50 and 60,000 words. However, I am very much an underwriter when I'm drafting. Um, I tend to get down the bare bones, which is mostly dialogue and action during my first drafts, and then add in all of the like setting details and emotional responses that haven't already been um, made apparent through the actions. Because a lot of times my characters show their emotions through action. So sometimes I have to add in a little bit more than what I have during, what I have there from my first draft. But it's usually having to add in like description, like setting descriptions, and making sure I have transition paragraphs from one scene to the next scene so it doesn't feel like it's like a jolt, like you're like, well, what just happened, where am I now? So those are usually that's the stuff that I need to put in during my revisions usually, is transition paragraphs and setting descriptions and all that good stuff. So let me know what are you guys an underwriter? Are you guys like, do you find yourselves having to add words in your revision process, or do you find yourself having to cut words in your revision process? Like I rarely have to I rarely have to cut entire scenes. Of course, there are times I'll cut a paragraph and replace that paragraph with something else, but rarely will I have to cut an entire scene. Um, Wendy says that she's writing a paranormal rom-com series. Ooh, that sounds interesting. I love me a romantic comedy because I'm a very big enemies to lovers trope person, and that's just because I love sarcasm, the sarcasm and the snarky banter that happens when it is an enemies to lovers. Hilarious. So um it sounds interesting if that's kind of, I don't know if it's an enemies to lovers or anything, but usually if it's a romantic comedy, usually there's some kind of snark or sarcasm or something in there. She's working on book 4, hoping to start book 5 on May 1st. Wow, final book in the series. She usually drafts 100,000 word books and then say okay, so then you have to cut them down. So you're an overwriter. Um, yeah, that makes sense. If you're writing a romance, usually romances aren't quite that long. So, um, where do you usually find that you tend to overwrite? Like, is it certain sections or certain areas that you tend, like me, I tend to go a little overboard when it comes. I don't go, well, I shouldn't say I go overboard because I'm very much an underwriter. But the parts where I notice I usually don't have to add a whole lot are when it's like a big action scene, when it's really, you don't need to write the emotional response of it in the middle of the scene, because right now it's like you're in the middle of the action, and you don't want to slow down the action by randomly putting in how a character, is feeling at that exact moment if it's not done through action. Usually a lot of times you'll wait until after the action scene's over and then they're kind of reflecting on what happened, and that's kind of where you have to write in, more of their emotional response to what just happened, and that's usually where I need to expand on that scene where they're reflecting on the action scene. Like, the action scene is usually where I've either put a little too much detail in there, or I've like got just enough in there that I don't need to add anything else. Like, it's good the way it is already. Um the only time sometimes that's different is sometimes I won't actually like write out the whole action, like if it's like a fighting scene or something like that. Sometimes in my first draft I'll just put bracket, fight scene, and then I have to fill that in my, because my absolute favorite thing in the world to write is always dialogue and snarky banter. So if I'm in the middle of a conversation between my two characters and a fight scene is supposed to happen, a lot of times I'll just put in like a bracket, fill this in later, and then I'll just continue with the conversation so that I don't forget it. Um, so yeah, Wendy says she's way an overwriter. I tend to info dump everything up front and spend a lot of time in people's heads. Most of my out of his head and into the action. See, I'm the complete opposite. I'm a person who my MC is in the middle of the action, and in my revisions, I need to get into his or her head a little bit more than I did during my draft. I super suck at fight scenes. I always have to add them in later, which inched my word count back up again. There you go. Yeah, well, I don't do that for every scene. It really just depends on where I'm at when I'm drafting at that time. Like I said, if I'm in the middle of like a conversation, supposed to be a fight scene that happens in the middle of that conversation, I'll skip the fight scene and finish the conversation first so that I don't forget what I wanted the conversation to be about, and so I don't kind of lose that almost like a rhythm to to the conversation or the banter between them. Like, you don't want to lose that. And if you kind of start writing it at one time and then you stop and you pick it up later, I feel like the rhythm of the conversation isn't the same if you didn't write it all in one if you didn't write it in the same like time frame. So anyway, yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, I find that that helps me not feel stuck as often. Like, I don't want to call it writer's block, but it I find that that helps me keep moving forward without me feeling like dragged down because I'm like, I really don't want to write this fight scene right now. I'm more into the fight scene right now. So that's just kind of to keep myself more motivated to keep writing what I'm writing. And then I just kind of keep my fingers crossed and hope that when I go through my my first read through and I have to add all that stuff in, that I'll be more in the mood to write those scenes that I skipped during my drafting. So it's a little risky, but I do can keep moving forward and hopefully finish the first draft in a decent amount of time, and then it won't feel quite so overwhelming when I do need to add those little scenes into it as I go through my first run of revisions. Right, exactly. You're never going to remember that conversation as well later as when you're in the moment. So it's good to dive into that when they crop up. Yeah, and that's something that I've kind of learned because I'm a couple books in now, and I realize that if I need to try and finish that conversation that day at least. Even if it's not that writing session, I need to at least finish it that day. Um, because usually if it's just that day and it was just like an hour or two ago, I can, I remember. But if I wait like a day or two, I'm gonna completely forget what I wanted to write in the conversation. So so anyway, that's how I found that works best for me is to kind of keep the momentum of whatever it is I'm writing at the moment. And if I fill things in later, then I'll worry about that. You know what? Future self me has to worry about that. So, okay, guys. So, that was, I think I let you guys know I got, I think 233 words that time. So I'm not sure what I'm on. It's like 400 and 4 or 500 words, I think. So my goal is to reach 600 because that's usually the top end of my sprint of my live stream totals is like 600. So I'm going to try and reach at least 600 by the end of the sprint, which means I have one sprint left. We have one sprint left, which we're going to start in a minute, and um that means I need to write like 100 between 100 and 200 words, which I should be able to do. I've been hitting over 200 words this whole time during the live stream. So that's my goal. Let me know if you guys have a goal for the next sprint or if you had a goal for this live stream or just today or whatever. Um, my goal was to try and write at least 600 words during the live stream so that I only have 400 words left to write for the rest of the day. Because in my mind, I'm like, I could do 400 words. 400 words I could do. Like, whereas if I start at 200, I'm like, oh man, I still have 800 words to write, and you know what I mean. Like, I feel like my mind cooperates better if it's in tiny chunks. So, okay. So let's get this next live stream started. Wendy, thank you for joining me. Enjoy your lunch. And oh, thank you so much for subscribing. Don't forget, if any of you have not subscribed yet, to make sure you hit the subscribe and little bell. I am going live. I try and hop on weekdays, Monday through Thursday. It's usually at 12 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. This past week I wasn't on Monday because it was a holiday. Well, Easter was a holiday, but everybody was home yesterday. The kids were home from school, husband and mom were home from work, so it's not as easy for me when there's a lot of people in this week. But normally I am on Monday through Thursday at 12 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So make sure you hit the little bell so you get notified when I do go live, and then you can go on there and just hit the little add reminder thing so that you get those reminders, so you know when I'm coming on, when you have a minute to join me. Okay, guys, so let's start our final sprint. 20 minutes on the clock, and ready, set, go. Okay, guys, that was the last sprint. Let me know how you guys did, what you did, all that good stuff. What did I get? I was aiming for at least 600 for this live stream. Let me see what I got that sprint, and then I can see how much I got for the whole stream. Okay, I got words that time, so I'm pretty sure I made my 600 word goal for the live stream. Let me see. I got 707 words for the whole live stream. So that means I only need about 300 more words to reach my goal for the day, which is definitely doable. And I'm going to try and make sure that I do that either right after I get off or sometime today. I could definitely get 300 more words in today. Um, Thank you, Wendy, for adding me to your calendar, and you're welcome for the sprints, and I will see you tomorrow. If you guys got any words during that sprint, or if you just hopped in, let me know how many words you got before I wrap up. For anybody who's just hopping in, I do sprints. It's 3 20-minute sprints with 5 minute or less breaks in between. And I do them Monday through Thursday at 12 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If anything changes, like this week I wasn't on Monday because it was a holiday for everybody around here, so it's just Tuesday through Thursday this week. But most of the time I'll be on Monday, Thursday, unless there is a holiday in there somewhere where everybody's home from work and school and all that stuff. So Tina says that she edited chapter 2 and she added 5 words. Okay, well, see, I don't really keep track of word count when I'm editing. When I edit, like for NaNoWriMo, I was originally going to edit for November, and basically what I do is I just count however many words were in the chapter, and if I edited the entire chapter and the chapter was 2,000 words, then I edited 2,000 words. So that's how I keep track of my editing, just because a lot of times I rebel during NaNoWriMo. So the only way for me to keep track of my word count is to do it that way, because if all I did was count words that I added to a draft, I would never in a million years reach 50,000 words in November. So that's kind of how I keep track of editing. And a lot of times I'll just have a sheet of paper that has all of my chapters on it, and then every chapter off. And yeah, that's what you do. I keep a spreadsheet and check all of the words. Yeah, I just have a sheet of paper that has chapter 1, chapter 2, blah blah blah, and then as I edit, I just cross my chapters off as I go. Oh, okay, so Adaya, I wasn't sure which it was, if it was Dia or Dia. Um, so you'll have to let me know what it is, because I'm not sure how to pronounce it. Stream started, but I'm still here for the next couple of minutes. We kind of just wrapped up our last sprint of the stream, and I'm going to be getting ready to head out. But I am here. Okay, it's Dia. Thank you. I am here, like I said, Monday through Thursday at 12 o'clock noon Eastern Standard Time. Um, and if you make sure to check out the subscribe and the little bell, it'll let you know when I upload upcoming live streams, so that you can hit the little notified when I have a stream starting in 30 minutes. And it'll also notify you when the stream actually goes live. So if you check out those buttons down there somewhere, um, that'll let you know when I'm streaming, because I will be back on tomorrow at 12 o'clock noon Eastern Standard Time. as well as Thursday of this week, 12 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. So even though you missed most of today, you can always hop on another day when you're available. Okay, guys, so that was all for me. I got 707 words for the whole live stream, and my goal was 600. So I reached my goal, and I only have 300 words left to write today. Let me know how many words your goal was for the day, and then how many, if you were keeping track of how much you got done during the live stream. Um, that's kind of where I'm at. I got three-quarters of the way through my word count goal for the day, which is good because a lot of times the live stream is the longest chunk of time that I dedicate to writing in a day. So if I can get a big chunk of my word goal done during the live stream, that's always helpful to me. And I'm more likely to reach my 1,000 word goal if I get most of it done during the live stream. I just found that that's kind of what happens. The most of my time dedicated to writing happens during the live stream. Um, so that's kind of where I stand for this. I hope that the live stream was helpful for you guys and that you guys got some stuff done. If you guys missed any of it, you can always watch it on replay. It should be available within a few minutes after the live stream's over. And like I said, I'll be back tomorrow at 12 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And that's it for me today, guys. I will see everybody tomorrow on my next live stream. Okay, bye.